up, wake up. It's the Flow Show, no filter. Happy Taco Tuesday. We got a lot to talk about when it comes to your boy Diddy, but first, let me cover my ass, no Diddy, before I get started. The thoughts, views, and opinions shared on the Flow Show, no filter, are for educational and entertainment purposes only. I am not a professional. I am just good. Hello. Let's get started. Shannon, good morning, Shannon. Good morning, Tracy, Megan, Laura, Lily, Jonan, Bo, and all the breakfast crew. Happy to be with y'all on this Taco Tuesday. The Diddy trial it's like a Tubi movie at this point. Unbelievable. But this is the real life. This is what victims and alleged victims and co-conspirators, we got everything in between. We got to talk about it. Yesterday, who they're calling Jane Doe continued her riveting testimony. So many things were spoken about in this testimony. Forced, coercion, manipulation, violence, drug use. So many things to unpack. Such a just sad situation when you just get outside of the actual case and you just think about these are people's real lives. These were all children who parents, loved them and cared for them, and nobody wants to see their daughter go through this. Nobody wants to see their son in this situation. It's just sad across the board. And yesterday, it was so much said, I hope I can cover 80% of it. Jane Doe detailed the pattern. To me, the theme of yesterday in the Diddy trial, the theme to me was the freak-offs must go on. It was like no matter what was going on, Diddy made sure that a freak-off was always about to happen. It don't matter if Jane Doe was crying. It don't matter if she had a black eye. It don't matter if she vomited. It don't matter if she was sick. Don't matter what was going on. Diddy was pushing her to have a freak off. Insane testimony. Let's talk about, before I go into an article, let's talk about and go over some of these transcripts. Took notes on some of the transcripts that I want to go over. And when you're talking about this case, you're talking about a case where the prosecution is showing how many times she said she did not want to participate. The prosecution isn't doing this for shits and giggles. The prosecution is doing this to show a pattern, to show that this victim or this alleged victim did not want to do this and made it crystal clear many times. Like one text message they talked about where they say she wrote, I don't want to feel obligated that you'll stop paying my rent. She said the guilt tripping things that he would say would make it where I had to perform. This was throughout the entire relationship. She said this is a true open relationship, and I don't like it. She would block Diddy and do whatever she had to do to get out of his web or whatever. but she always went back. Just in yesterday's testimony, she probably went back to Diddy after claiming she would move forward probably 3 or 4 times just in yesterday's testimony. But what they're showing by even the prosecution is deliberately showing you how many times she went back, because they're showing the trauma bond. They're showing the dependency she had on Diddy and the way he took advantage of that. See, if you don't take the time to read and understand the law and take the time to understand the psychology that Dr. Hughes, the expert who described and explained what these victims go through, the trauma bonding, the love bombing, and everything in between, then that's why a lot of people will look at this and be like, what is this? This doesn't mean nothing. She wasn't against her will. The people that say like stuff like that, you don't understand at all what's going on. See, we have become so desensitized that people in this society, they want to hear about her mouth duct taped, arms folded behind her back, tied up with wire, and being hauled off in white vans, and being just brutally sexual by all kind of different guys, 50 guys a day, hit upside her head. Like, that's not what it takes to be a sex trafficker. That is the number one problem in this society, is we don't even understand what sex trafficking is, because too much of our understanding is based off movies we see. When you use power and money to manipulate and have someone engage in illegal commercial sex acts for your own sexual pleasures, that is a crime. You don't have to be held against your will and bonded in chains and this misconception is why Diddy's ass is sitting in the damn prison right now and being hauled off to court every morning. She would be going through something, and Diddy would totally disregard and be like, we got to do a freak off. Like this one excerpt from the testimony when Jane said she was having issues, and then all Diddy would ask her is, where's Sly? Sly was another sex worker. She had just poured her heart out, and Diddy told her that he was going to fly her to him, and I believe he was in New York. And he basically tricked her and told her it would be a normal date night, me and you going out. As she boards the plane, once she get on the plane, Diddy start asking about Sly, the sex worker. And the prosecution and said that Diddy asked, did you want entertainment or a movie night? Let me know. I'll get a hotel. Basically saying it's freak off time. Prosecution asked her, how did you react? She said, I felt upset and a little defeated. And she said she'd do it though. And see, to people who don't understand the case, this don't mean nothing to them. But if you got to look up the definition of coercion, and one part of coercion is fraud. Fraud being saying it's one thing, but it's actually another. This isn't innocent. See, for him to manipulate and say, come to New York, I'm flying to New York for a regular date night. But then in his whole intentions is to have her engage in these freak-offs that she clearly was tired of and clearly wasn't in a mental state for. That's coercion. See, you could be mad at the law if you want to, but the law is the law, and the law is in place for a reason. And then things start heating up. They start getting into the violence. One time, Diddy had saw something in her phone with one of the sex workers and found out that they had mutual friends that Diddy didn't know about. This led to Diddy banging and kicking down closet doors, kicking down bedroom doors, whatever it took to get to her, kicking her, pulling her by her hair. She runs out of the house allegedly, around the corner, and hides for 2 hours, comes back, he kicks her ass again, and basically tells her to clean up and get ready for another freak off. It's amazing to me that's how many people don't realize that all of this is illegal activity. It got to the point where she said, I'm just not some animal that people can F on. And then for her saying that, he called her crazy. Prosecution said, how often did he call you crazy? She said, often. I said, you want to have me suck some D so you can get off with Gina. You remember Gina? We all kind of think Gina is victim number 3, the one who has disappeared. She said, I'm drained. Then he said, I'll leave you alone. And what did he do? Diddy came back with another coercion tactic, which involved fraud. He left her alone for a while. But then he said, he hit her back up, called her and said, hey, I want to have a sobriety party. I want to go 30 days without drugs, without drinking, without any of that. I want to make things right. I want to make things normal. And she fell for it again. So she said that we had a sobriety party at the hotel. But before that, they went to a concert. Then next thing you know, Jonathan sent her. She went to the store with Jonathan, which is Diddy's assistant, which I'm sure we'll hear from Jonathan. And he sent her to the store to get supplies for another freak off. Diddy was waiting in the hotel for her to come there. And the minute she walked in, matter of fact, before she even walked in, he called her and said, bitch, what the fuck is taking you so long? No sobriety, more drugs, more alcohol, more freak offs. And see, it's important to understand what's going on. The prosecution is showing the pattern of coercion, the pattern of sex trafficking, the fraud aspect. They're hammering home the fraud aspect. See, the difference between the people sitting at home and the comment creeps and the jerks in my comments, the difference between them and the jury is the jury is educated on what to pay attention to. The jury is educated on what laws have been broken and the definition of those laws. So when the jury is seeing this and hearing this testimony, they understand, oh, this is fraud. This is the fraud part of coercion. And they're hammering it home while Joe Blow is sitting on his couch at home eating Doritos, playing video games, talking about this ain't nothing at all. This ain't no case. Because you're ignorant. You don't even understand what you're reading. You don't even understand what's going on, but the jury does understand because the jury is given instructions on what these laws mean and what laws have allegedly been broken in this case. And then Cassie lawsuit hits. Now you got to imagine Cassie's lawsuit and everything that took place in Cassie's lawsuit, all the freak offs and all the baby oil and all the Astroglide and all the sex workers, this was long before Jane Doe. So Jane Doe has no clue that this is Diddy's normal. She's under the impression this is just something that me and Diddy are doing. So she's with Diddy when the lawsuit breaks. She said when Cassie's lawsuit came out and she read everything that happened and what was done to Cassie for all those years, she said it was like reading a nightmare. She said, I cannot. The prosecution said, how did you react? She said, I can't believe I'm reading my own story. Now, another component, important component to this RICO and this sex trafficking is a pattern. So now the prosecution has introduced, this ain't just about Cassie. This ain't just about this person or that person. This is 20 years later or 10 years later or 5 years later, he is doing the exact same thing with a new woman, engaging in illegal sex trafficking with prostitutes. See, the people out there who are ignorant to what's going on are saying things like, this is just, ain't nothing wrong with a husband and wife being free. No, a husband and wife can be as freaky as they want to be together with no money involved as far as paying people. But the minute you hire prostitutes or the minute you hire sex workers and fly them across seas and pay money, now it's illegal. And they tend to leave that part out when they try to minimize what the hell is going on. Do you understand that there's a whole federal trial and all of this is going on for a fucking reason? There's serious laws that have been broken, and it's not to play with, nothing to play with, nothing for Diddy to play with, nothing for these victims to play with, nothing for the judge or anybody else to play with. And if you don't have the maturity or the intellect to understand what's going on, please see the door. We don't need you in the room. You're in the way. But imagine she's reading this and realizing there was another woman who went through the exact same degrading, crazy, horrible situation that you couldn't even imagine. Four in one night. Around the time this Cassie thing was going on, Jane Doe alleges she had to go through 4 sex workers in one night while Diddy watched and pleasured himself. And God knows what else he did. She had to go to the freaking doctor behind this. But guess what? Diddy sensing the heat, going back into his manipulation tactic, told her, I love you. He said, I'm trying to stop all this madness. He's recording himself. His recording of himself is his doom. See, he's trying to record her and have it for evidence that everything he's doing is above board and everything is okay. But that same recording that he did of her, him talking to her, they are using it against him in a court of law. She didn't even know she was being recorded. Diddy was saying things like, I'm trying to be there for you. I'm trying to stop this madness. Really, what he was trying to do was get tabs on all his alleged victims because this Cassie shit had hit the fan. And it's funny, the same thing he tried to use to manipulate and spin his narrative is the same audio being used against him that he recorded. And then the raids happened. And the crazy thing about these raids is they didn't stop Diddy. Even after the raid, he continued the freak-offs. But then came a moment that even had Diddy crying. Remember the guy Sly? The sex worker Sly? Well, somehow he had video of a freak-off. And once all of this hit the fan, maybe back up. Let me tell you how he got this video. Diddy, just like he recorded himself talking to victim Jane Doe, Diddy used his own camera. He used Sly camera to record a freak off. I don't know if he was drug filled and didn't understand, picked up the wrong phone. I don't know what the hell made Diddy use a sex worker's phone to record the freak off, but it was another dumb Diddy thing. Dumb Diddy do. And when everything hit the fan, they started selling that freak off tape on the dark web. He told Jane he wanted $10,000 for that freak off tape. And when Sean found out from Jane that a freak off tape was floating around, he was crying. Diddy, aka Itty Bitty Diddy, I believe for the first time realized he was in deep shit. He never wanted those tapes out of his possession because he knows how damaging they are. There was a media company, and I don't know what media company bought this tape, but they say a media company bought this tape. Now, I don't know if that media company is in trouble for buying that tape. I don't know if it's illegal to buy that tape. I didn't bother to look it up and find out. But whoever it is, they ain't put that shit out. I know that. And with all this crap going on, I forgot to mention when the Cassie shit came out, let's back it up. Jane also exposed the fake and phony apology that they put together with a team huddle when he did that crocodile tear filled apology to Cassie for beating the hell out of her after he said it never happened. But once the tape came out, it jogged his memory. And she said Christina Korn was there. Said his sons were there. All the bad boy staff, and they huddled up and crafted this apology where Diddy said it was a dark time and he was so apologetic for it, and he wished it never happened, and all of this shit. And then not too long after that, he was back having freak-offs and beating the crap out of another woman. So this was another thing that the prosecution showed. They purposely showed how he crafted that apology letter, tried to manipulate the public, manipulate Cassie and whoever would listen. And then they showed that days later, he was assaulting, having freak-offs, and doing everything like that. Like that apology didn't mean shit, like we all knew. So much was exposed yesterday in his testimony. Then the time when Diddy went to Utah and made Jane Doe jealous because he was in Utah with, as she said, a woman who wasn't even old enough to drink, which led to her calling Diddy a pedophile. Diddy was damn near 30 years older than this woman. And what happened? Jane says Diddy kicked her all the way into the closet. She says, I tried to run, but he kicked me and put me in a chokehold, and I couldn't breathe. I went to the front door, and I ran to a wall 6 blocks away. Prosecution says, how long did you hide there? 2 hours. Then I went back and saw Sean, a.k.a. Diddy. Sean called her a whore and forced her into another freak-off. With black eye and all, he got this woman engaging in another freak-off. And after the freak-off, he just left $10,000 to $12,000 in cash for her to pay the sex worker, and he went about his business. And can you believe there are still people who don't understand this is illegal? And I'm gonna be fair to the guys. Ladies, I'm starting to see more and more women on Diddy's side, even more than men, which is, I can't believe it. And they don't even understand the case. They're saying things like, none of these women were held against their will, and you have to make a decision and just leave. And these are women. Like, I'm really starting to see a lot more women than men, and I don't understand. How can you be a woman and possibly have daughters, have a mother, and side with Diddy and victim shame these victims? And it is unbelievable to me. Like I say, I'm just thankful for the women that I grew up around and that I was raised around, because they don't act nothing like these women that I'm seeing saying this ignorant stuff. I didn't know this many existed to make excuses for Diddy and blame the women who beating the hell out of him for taking advantage of women in desperate positions. Like I said, I don't understand it, but I make sure I'm putting the right message out. Any fucker out there that think they're going to do any of this Diddy shit to any of the women around me, you know your ass is grass. So I'm just glad my message is clear. I don't give a damn who try to minimize it or who rocking with Diddy. That's on you. As long as everybody who hear this podcast and see me post know that, you know what? We better leave the women that's close to him alone, because I'm not going to play with you. Which is why I continue to stand 10 toes on what I believe in. Fuck anybody that want to say anything different or want to make excuses for this. What the fuck kind of world do y'all live in? Who raised y'all? Who raised y'all to not know that how illegal, and not even just illegal, how immoral, how trifling this shit is? You got to be thankful of the family you got if you ain't got to deal with these ignorant people that's saying this type of shit. Luckily, I don't have to be around them. I only see them in the comment section. I don't see them in real life, and I thank God for that. Poor excuse for women. And it really irks me because 90% of them, 99% of them don't even understand what the case is about. They're making comments that don't even apply to the case. So it's like a double whammy. You're not even trying to figure out and find out what the hell is really going on. And meanwhile, when you saying this ignorant shit, you got young women, children who read these comments and they like, so it's okay. So it's the woman's fault. So it's not the guy who's on trial, the guy who's been indicted and facing 30 years. You got women and some men acting like they haven't done nothing wrong. How confusing is that to our youth? How confusing is that to the 16-year-old young lady who happened to be on social media and see these comments and see women and men talking about ain't nothing wrong with that. That's just domestic violence. This trial is some of the worst. I ain't even fuck the law at this point. Right now, I'm just talking about human beings and human activity. This is some of the most demonic, crazy, horrific shit that I've ever seen or heard from one man. And it's people defending it. Holy shit, y'all. Hide your daughters. Matter of fact, hide your sons. Protect your daughters, protect your sons with your life, because this world is fucked up right now. If this case was on trial, if Diddy was on trial in the 90s, they would be crucifying him the way he's supposed to be. Imagine hearing all this type of stuff in the 90s or the 80s. His life would be in danger. They would have to have him in protective custody in the prison if this was the 80s or the 90s. And if you come from that era, you know what the hell I'm talking about. But in 2025, where everything is desensitized and shit like this is quote unquote no big deal to a lot of people, it's scary. It's scary. The article, we'll go into the article of the Mirror, wrote an excellent article capturing one of the moments and some of the details about this testimony. And by the way, today is going to be a cross-examination for your ass. And if you are very triggered behind this stuff, you might not even want to pay attention to the cross-examination today, because you know Diddy's defense team, because this This testimony has been so damaging. You know, Diddy's defense team is going to come at Jane like a ton of bricks. You already see how Brian Steele, how he operate. He'll go up there and just call her a liar and victim shame her to death. And as long as the judge allows it, it's fair game. I can't judge the defense team on how far they go to protect their client, especially if the judge, which the judge says up until this point, the defense has done nothing wrong, so I have to listen to the judge. So it's fair game. But this cross-examination, mark my words, is going to be brutal. It's going to be brutal. So let's get into this article who did a great detail on this testimony by Jane. This is from the Mirror. You know, I love the Mirror. That's one of the publications I do actually kind of like. The Mirror. Titled, P. Diddy's ex-girlfriend cried for 3 days after reading Cassie's lawsuit. An ex-girlfriend of Sean P. Diddy Combs says she cried for 3 days and felt nauseated after reading Cassie Ventura's November 2023 lawsuit. Testifying for the third day under the pseudonym Jane, the woman recalled her reaction after reading the lawsuit, which described the alleged effects of hundreds of drug-fueled freak-off sex marathon with Combs and male sex worker. Hundreds. And we're talking about most of them with multiple sex workers. And you standing with this guy? How low has the bar become? The bar is in hell right now. I never thought I would see the day when a man, and I use that term loosely, a man will be hiring sex workers to pound his girlfriend out, back to back to back, different guys, no condom, no nothing. As he just pleasures himself, he is feeling no pain. He is feeling no pain. And to do this hundreds of times with one woman. And we live in a time where this guy gets defended by men and women. Shameful. Jane, who referred to similar alleged encounters with Combs as debauchery and hotel nights, said she felt like she was reading her own sexual trauma as she read Cassie's lawsuit. She claimed in court it followed her experience with Bad Boy Records founder word for word. Exactly my experience. We don't need to go into the Cassie part. We know Cassie's story quite well at this point. So let me go straight to, during her court appearance, Jane read aloud for the jury text messages, including some in which she complained that Diddy Combs, itty bitty Diddy, no accountability Diddy, Mohawk Diddy, whatever Diddy you want to call this Diddy ass, seemed to be forcing her into sex marathons by threatening to take away her shelter. The textbook definition of coercion. I don't give a fuck where you at, what you say, what I say, what your mama say, what your daddy say, what your cousin say. The definition of coercion is making someone feel the need to engage in these commercial sex acts by threatening to take away support. Support can be shelter. Don't get mad at me. Get mad at the definition. Get mad at the law. She pleaded with him to recognize the damage the encounters were doing, telling Combs, "I am not an animal." Yesterday, Jane also testified that Diddy forced to have freak-off style sexual encounter with male sex workers after chasing her around her California home, putting her in the chokehold, punching her in the face, and kicking down doors. In court, the woman said Combs erupted after she accused him of cheating on her. After beating her into submission, Jane allegedly said that Diddy invited a sex worker over, gave her an ecstasy pill, and told her, "You're not going to ruin my night like this." And you got people defending this monster. He beat her and then called a sex worker in, gave her an ecstasy pill, and told her, "You're not going to ruin my night like this." Mind you, she went into this freak off with the following injuries that had just happened: a black eye and welts all over her forehead. This was supposed to start off as a romantic night, that it was just supposed to be her and Diddy and a regular date night, is what he told her. And then it turned into battered bruises, ecstasy pills, and being bashed in by some sex worker while Diddy pleasured himself. Y'all, I ain't never seen no crap like this. I ain't never seen something so horrific in my life. He used power and money to have what he tricked into being a girlfriend to having sex. Man, I don't know, maybe hundreds and hundreds, if not damn near close to 1,000 sexual encounters. If you count that many nights, it was 3 and 4 guys at one time, back to back to back. I don't know how in the hell you can defend that, but people are doing it. So today will be a crazy cross-examination. I will be tuned in, but I'm telling y'all, this cross-examination is going to be hard for people to handle. And so today, the defense will question the woman about the hotel nights with Sean Combs. Article in the New York Times. And the article says, for more than 13 hours over 3 days, jurors in the federal trial of Sean Combs heard the gripping testimony from Jane Doe. Now it's time for a cross-examination. Pay attention. Mr. Combs, the producer, we all know is charged with sex trafficking and racketeering. Mr. Combs is facing life in prison behind it. Jane took the stand, last Thursday, and will continue today as she recounts in vivid details of the troubled relationship with Mr. Combs. This troubled relationship began in 2021, lasted until shortly before his arrest in 2024. We've already said Jane said she was pressured into having sex with many male escorts. She would have sex with one or two men and then throw up. And then Diddy would say, cool, now that you threw up, you should feel better. Next man up. And send in another sex worker. Again, the people, it's so many ignorant people saying ignorant things about this case. It just makes me put my message out louder and louder and louder. Because any man that think they're going to be carrying on and doing this type of shit to any woman around me, I need them to know I ain't going to play with you. I need you to know that. She threw up. He said, let's go. He had men waiting on deck like this is baseball. And it's a batter's box. And you got a hitter on deck waiting for the other hitter to hit so he can come right up to the plate. Nasty, nasty business. She was also staying at Mr. Combs' Miami area mansion in May 2024. She was there with Combs when the tape of Cassie dropped, showing him beating the hell out of her. But on today, Tuesday, June 10th, Diddy's lawyers will have the opportunity to question Jane, much like they did Cassie. They're going to ask a lot of tough questions. They're going to try to point the blame at Jane, much like they did Cassie. The defense has already signaled that it intends to argue that however fraught her relationship was with Mr. Combs, Jane was a willing participant in the hotel nights she shared with him. They said the evidence is going to show you a toxic and dysfunctional relationship between these two individuals. Teeny Garagos, a lawyer for Mr. Combs, said in her opening statement, if you recall. And you may think to yourself, wow, he is a really bad boyfriend. But the evidence is going to show you that she is a capable, strong woman who willingly engaged in their sex life so they could spend time together. It's simply not sex trafficking. Now, even in her opening statement, let's pay attention to a couple of statements. She said, if this isn't minimizing some shit, I don't know what it is, but check this out. She said, she told the jury, you might think to yourself, wow, he is a really bad boyfriend. Nah, I'm sorry. This ain't no really bad boyfriend. A really bad boyfriend may forget to bring you home something. A really bad boyfriend may yell at you. A really bad boyfriend may cuss at you. A really bad boyfriend may not come home at night or may not answer his phone. But when you're talking about hiring commercial prostitution, hiring male sex workers to have sex with your woman and force her, give her drugs, hit her, and seconds after beating the hell out of her, you have her in another freak off. Ain't nobody saying that's a really bad boyfriend. A really bad boyfriend? Is that what this is? That all? If everything we've seen in this case so far, that is what we're calling a really bad boyfriend now? And she even went on to say this is just two toxic individuals. It's a lot more than that. She said that she willingly engaged in their sex life so they could spend time together. So if it was only about spending time together, why would he need to hold over the fact that he's paying her rent? If she was doing this simply because she just really wanted to spend time with him, you don't have to hold over anything. You don't have to threaten about paying bills. This defense, I believe, much like the R. Kelly trial, I believe the defense's strategy is flawed. Very flawed. Extremely flawed. Because they're saying things that just don't make sense. How could you come to the conclusion that she went through all of this hell only because she wanted to spend time with him? If she had that kind of love for him, where it was only about time, the money wouldn't have anything to do with it. He wouldn't need to throw it in her face about paying the rent. Because if she just wanted to spend time and was so desperate just to spend time with him, loved him so much, it was just about time, the rent money, the vacation, none of that would mean anything. So even their strategy, in my opinion, makes no sense. So we'll see today as they do this cross-examination. We'll see how this plays out. What they're going to try to hammer home that this was just a really bad boyfriend. That's horrible. People magazine had an excellent article about a former escort who was booked by Diddy, reveals how the tone allegedly changed during his last freak-offs with Cassie. A former escort allegedly hired by Sean Diddy Combs for more than a dozen of the music mogul's freak-offs says the tone changed over time. I just would say overall the tone was a little darker towards the last times I've seen them. This guy name is Sean Deering. A lot of people haven't heard his story. He's one of the male sex workers. He said he had a chance to see the dark side of things. He said Ventura's attitude it became like a robot, saying things like, I'm here, I have to perform, let's do this. It was more of a doing this to please him type of spirit overall. I can tell when the energy was different. He said, it seems as though Cassie was just playing her role. It was evil. And she was under that spell or under a spell. Deering continues, in my opinion, in that situation, she didn't know if this was a beast she could control or not. So she was just simply along for the ride. Who knows where that beast was going? Deering says Combs first hired him in the late 2014, early 2015 era through a website called Cowboys for Angels, and that he did not know the identity of the client beforehand. He claimed he was booked for more than a dozen sessions with Combs and Ventura, which typically took place at either a bungalow in Beverly Hills or a condo off Sunset Boulevard in Los Angeles. After leaving escorting behind in 2017 and moving back in his home state of Hawaii, Deering says Combe tried to hire him again, but he passed. Quoting, I just kind of had to do a lot of personal soul searching. In a sense, he explains, I stepped away from that, realizing it was darker. Because honestly, I do care about these ladies, so I had to step away. Deering adds, I never thought that escorting was part of my lifetime plan. Though he is on a different path these days, Deering said he is unfazed by others' opinions of him. The truth is, I don't care what anyone says about me. If people will want to think negative thoughts about me, that's on them. Deering says he's also come forward now to lend some credence to what Cassie is saying and has said. Prosecutors actually revealed his photo in court, and that is how he was identified. The more this trial goes on, the more you see people coming out and realizing, like, this is dark. And the only people defending Diddy are the people who are so far removed from this shit. They have no connection to this. They don't have any empathy for the next person. They just see this shit as words on a screen and pictures and a game and a movie that they can just comment on. They don't realize this is real people's lives. And that's the saddest part of the whole thing. To a lot of people, this is just talk. It's just gossip. It's just trending news. But to a lot of people, like the people in the Flow Show community, that we get together every day at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you don't catch us on YouTube live, you can catch us on Apple and Spotify 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But I thank God that our community takes this thing very seriously, and we don't give a shit who don't and what nobody got to say about it, because it's sad. And you got to remember, when people are in the comments saying ignorant shit like this is no big deal, or why didn't they just leave, and they could have just did this and they could have just did that, they don't even realize you got other people who are actually going through this shit right now. Other women who are going through this right now. As we speak, a woman is being manipulated and coerced and sex trafficked right now. I looked up the stats. Nearly 5 million women are sex trafficked a year. So right now, we have a woman being sex trafficked. We can bet on it. And she could be reading that comment. And she could say, you know what? Why the hell would I even speak out? Why the hell would I even hold my sex trafficker accountable when you got people in the world that don't think shit is wrong with it? You got people in the world that think this is normal behavior, which says more about them than the witnesses on the stand. It says more about them than the many people who are involved in this case. When you can sit back and see a woman getting the hell beat out of her, a woman being manipulated, as many women could be manipulated. When a woman loves you, she leads with emotion. See, what they don't understand is this law is just because you can take advantage of a woman or you can take advantage of a man, that don't mean it ain't illegal. That's where people are missing the point. Just because you can doesn't make it legal. Just because you run across somebody who may have mental issues, may not be strong, may have a lot going on, just because you run across them and are able to manipulate them does not keep you from being held accountable. And that is the biggest lesson that I think people need to learn from this case. People think just because you can manipulate somebody and you're able to do it, they think that you can't get in trouble for that, or they don't think anything is wrong with that. But there's one person who right now knows something is wrong with it. And that's this guy right here behind me, Mohawk itty bitty Diddy with the small Tootsie Roll. He knows something is wrong with it. You know how he know? How I know? Because he done hired 3,000 lawyers. He's attempted 2 mistrials. It's only a week and a half left of the prosecution case. It's about to go to the defense. So to go for a mistrial right now shows that you know the walls are closing in. And so, ladies and gentlemen of Flow Show No Filter, I want everybody to pay attention. Hey, y'all. Somebody said Diddy is selling those tapes on the dark web. No, today somebody said that today is the cross examination. The defense is going to be acting a damn fool today, and I encourage, if you can stomach it, please tune in, because this is going to be a crazy situation. Somebody said, thank you for doing this, Flow. New sub. I like your energy and conviction. Much love. Much love to you, Techna Hippie. I appreciate it. This is just me being me, and just me putting out a message that I think needs to be out there, that I believe strongly about, and I'm strong enough to say fuck anybody else who got something to say. You can't bully me into thinking this is normal. You can't bully me into thinking that ain't nothing wrong what Diddy did. You can't bully me into thinking that the women are to take all of the blame. Now, I'm not going to say we all have some blame when it comes to anything that happened to us. We all can take a percentage of blame. I don't have a problem with that. I have some blame. We can put some of the blame on these women, as far as just as far as, like, because they were actually there or whatever you want to say. But the majority and 99% of the blame is with Diddy. And that's why his ass is sitting in the middle of the court. We are all grown people. I'm not going to say, we all have to do the best we can and make the best decisions we can. I have to hold myself accountable to make the best decisions that I can make. But at the same time, to take any ounce of blame away from Diddy, after you see all these hands and feet that he put on these women, as you see all the drugs he smuggled and using people who are just trying to make a living, who came to him to help push music, who came to him to work a normal job. And next thing they know, they're smuggling drugs and helping set up freak-offs. You can't do no better than that. We don't, our bar has become so low that beating the hell out of women, giving them drugs, engaging in sex acts and all that, it ain't no big deal. I ain't never been so ashamed of our society as I am right now. I'm just being honest. And I like it. Our man Flo don't mess around. Steph said, yeah. I've never been this shamed. Like, this is, I'm thankful for this for this trial because it exposed a lot of pieces of shit that we got in this society that need to be cleaned up. Ain't enough toilet paper. Charmin don't make enough toilet paper for all these pieces of shit that I've been running across. Exactly. Tracy says sounds like the defense has the same mental status as Diddy. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Like, it's literally ridiculous, y'all. I am disgusted. I've never, ever, like, you have to be the coldest hearted motherfucker alive to be standing up and talking about ain't nothing wrong with this. Somebody tried to tell me my wife or my future wife can get me for human trafficking if this is the case. Like, huh? First of all, this is not just a man and a woman having sex. They always omitting the part out about prostitution, hiring sex workers, smuggling drugs, coercion. Like, add all that in. Quit omitting that. They try to act like this is just a boyfriend and girlfriend having sex together, and that's it. But you know why they're trying to paint it like that? Because the truth is so much worse. That's why they paint and omit a million facts, that a million relevant facts. When they come with their argument, they admit it. They omit it because the truth is too painful. See, they have to say this is just a toxic couple being freaks. No, it's not what this is. If that's the case, why when it hit the fan, Diddy told Jane he couldn't be talking on the phone? Diddy knew it was illegal. Because when shit was going down and he was trying to talk to Jane, he told her, and this was in the testimony yesterday, that I can't be talking on these phones. So you might not know it was illegal. Diddy knew it was illegal because he could have. Why? What the fuck? He can't talk on the phone for? What is he worried about them hearing on the phone if he just talking about some shit that's just everyday couple stuff? It's just sad, y'all. It's really sad. It's sad. Thank you for the super sticker. Damn, hold on. I missed it. Lord, thank you for the super sticker. I don't know. Oh, there you go. What the hell is going on? Dickie got a wife. Dickie back to push that, man. He pushed out that last one yesterday so good. Look, this is it. Dickie is a fan. Dickie is a fan. Dickie waking up to the crack of dawn and can't wait to get in here with us. I don't care what he say. Dickie is a fan and he loves this show. Yeah, Dickie loves the show. He getting up at 6:37 in the morning to come here. You're a fan, bro. I don't care what you can. All the caps you can type all the caps words you want. You're a fan, and I appreciate it. He loved the show just like we all love the show. He set his alarm. Dickie got a wife. Hey, look. I told y'all, but remember I told y'all, see, the thing about my what helps me grow? What helps me grow is, like I told y'all, everything I say, I never exaggerate. My trolls love the show and love my content as much as y'all do. And it's been like that from the beginning. They will tune in just as long as my fans tune in because I had that special effect on people. That's why all of my platforms, and when you see me and you see the footage of me, I get so much love in the streets. Even the trolls love me The trolls wake up at 5:30 a.m. to come hear what I got to say. And that's the blessing of it all. That's when you're special. That's when your words are special. Your delivery is special and you're genuine. Dickie couldn't wait to get back in this chat today. And am I surprised? Hell no. All my trolls love my content in the podcast. So I'm not surprised at all. This is how it goes. But the bottom line is, in all seriousness, it lets you know to grab hold of your people, grab hold of your woman, grab hold of your daughter. Because it's some certified jerks out here. Somebody say, I love how you handle trolls. Yeah, that's kind of been a secret of mine. It's like a superpower. I handle trolls so well that they always stick around. They always stick around. And it's been like that since the beginning, since I started doing this. I've had the ability to handle trolls in a way where they love my content, they watch my content, they stay in my comments, and they just help push my message out. And guess what? Those same trolls, when they see me in person, they want to take pictures and they tell me how they love my content. They just can't say that in the comment section. Trust me, happens all the time. I got trolls that I got what you call day one trolls. I got day one trolls. Trolls that have been around since the beginning. And I'm proud of that. I really am. I'm proud of that. Thank you, Cynthia Stewart. Cynthia Stewart, thank you for the $25 Apple Pay. I greatly appreciate it. I'm going to have some good lunch today. And also, she said New York trip support. So I have your email at Cynthia Stewart. I'm not going to read it out loud, but Cynthia Stewart, something. And I will be putting you on the VIP Diddy list. So if you're hearing this, thank you so much. Yeah, y'all, this is one for the ages. And we're going to continue to meet at 7:30 every day. We're going to continue to cover these stories. We're going to continue to love each other and support each other. And the trolls are going to continue to tune in because like I told them, you are now tuning in to the motherfucking best. And I appreciate it. Action speaks louder than words. Your ass got up at the crack of dawn to come in my chat. You love me. You just don't know how to express it. You just didn't have enough hugs coming up. But Flo loved the trolls. Because I understand y'all just need hugs. See, I got a lot of hugs growing up. I'm filled with love. That's why I can't even get mad at the trolls. I love that y'all get up at the crack of dawn. You can't come trolling me. See, that's the good thing about a morning show, y'all. Because if you in my show at 7:30 a.m., you love my ass. I don't care what you say in the comments. That's why I like having a show this early. Your trolling don't hit. If you waking up when the birds is chirping, the roosters, I'm in Puerto Rico. You getting up with the roosters to come in my chat, you love me, baby. You love me, baby. And nothing else you can, I don't care what you say in the chat, because your actions are showing that. The first thing I did when I woke up is to click my phone and find out what the hell Flo's saying, because I love listening to that boy speak. That's what your messages is saying. I don't care what y'all caps letter and all this. You try to be mean, but it's way too early in the morning to be trying to act like you don't like me. We talking about 7:30. We talking about 4:30 we talking about 4:30 if you in LA, Dickie. You can't be up at 5 a.m. and convince me you mad at me. You love me, baby. And I love you too. See, everything I do is strategic. People don't even realize it. You ain't even brushed your teeth yet, Dickie, and you in my chat. You love me. But some people just don't know how to express that love. And it's okay. It's okay. We're going to continue to keep doing our thing. And we're going to keep putting the word out there and put the message out there that if you fuck with any of our women and any of our children, your ass is grass. And ain't a comment section in the world that can save you. Simple as that. So shout out to the supporters. If you want to support, let me throw the subscription link in the comment section or the chat or whatever. So Dickie could go ahead and subscribe. I know he wants to. So watch Dickie get some watch Dickie sign up and want some of this exclusive content. Watch Dickie. Watch me see his I'm gonna see somebody in the email. It's gonna say itty bitty Dickie. Once the exclusive Diddy content. Go on, click the subscription link, Dickie. You know you want to. Your ass up at 4:30 a.m. waiting to see what I'm gonna say. Yeah, it'll break Dickie's heart if I block them, y'all. That's why I don't block the trolls. They've been blocked their whole life. And that's part of what makes you become a troll. Well, I ain't gonna block you here on the Flow Show. Because I'm strong, baby. My skin thick. I got alligator skin. You can't throw me off. You never gonna see me sweat, baby. This is the product of a family that loved him. I don't get caught up in what no stranger's saying. If you hear, you doing your job. You are rocking with the motherfucking best. And on that note, y'all, let's get ready for this cross-examination today. We got a new member of the breakfast crew. His name is Itty Bitty Dickie. Itty Bitty Dickie. We got a new member. Say what's up to Dickie. He get up earlier than us. He gonna start being in the chat before Melody. He gonna be in the chat before Lily tomorrow with his capital letters, and he's even been working on his spelling, y'all. Can y'all notice that he's even been spelling shit right? See, that's the effect of the Flow Show No Filter. You come in here with hate, we give you so much love, you start getting your act together. That was the effect my granny had. And so she would be proud to see the change in Dickie as a result of this community that we built. So thank you, Dickie, for being an example of how we get you together with love. And eventually, you can't even hate no more. Your ass be up at 4:30 a.m. right with us with the breakfast crew. H-Flow, formerly known as H-Flow, Flow Show No Filter. Thank you for everybody out there. Let's get them mouse in the comment and tell Itty Bitty Dickie to have a great day. We're gonna get out of here. I got to gear up for this cross-examination, y'all. Poor little Dickie with an itty bitty Diddy with a little Tootsie Roll. Oh, we got to show him some love with that little Tootsie Roll. Hey, Steph said, I'm out. Let's get the I'm out, y'all. See, Tuck said, I'm out. Who else? Come on. Let me get some more I'm out. And Lily said, I'm out. Come on. I know we got some more I'm outs. Come on. Desi says, I'm out. I missed, hold on. I can't miss my girl. I can't miss Punk Rock Girl. My Punk Rock Girl said, I'm out. Oh, and by the way, I will be in New York in about less than 10 days. So all the VIP Diddy subscribers, look out for the new content, exclusive content. And it looks like I'm going to be out there when the defense takes over. So I'm interested to see what the hell Agnifilio and Tina Garagos and Brian Steele, Brian, Steele, who they call him, Brian, Tinfoil. I'm going to be in New York probably when the defense takes over there and starts presenting their case. So that should be interesting. So all the 20, if you want to be a part of it, it's a $23 subscription. Get you a $23 subscription with the Buzzsprout link. Who else? Let me see if there's any amounts I missed. Desi. Tracy says she wants some merch. Merch drop in around the 22nd. We're going to have the Flow on the Go shirts. We're going to have the I am not a professional, I am just good shirts. And we might even have itty bitty dicky shirts. Sybil says, I'm out. Hey, Sybil. I ain't seen Sybil in a minute. I'm about to be mad at Sybil. Sybil said, I'm out. Sydney said, I'm out. If I Sydney Coco Tay, I'm going to just say Coco Tay. Coco Tay says, I'm out. Kobe One Shinobi says, I'm out. Love you too. Love everybody as always. I love y'all. Tracy said, I'm out. Bye, little bitty. Much love. I love y'all, but I'm out.